Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise and really get you informed on the tech that's shaping things. Today, we're tackling something I think, well, many of us have felt. It's that AI frustration. And we've been calling it the copy-paste tax. You know it, right? Your AI gives you these brilliant, absolutely brilliant ideas, a perfect content strategy maybe, or a super detailed project plan, all minutes. But then you hit this wall. You're stuck manually copying, pasting, juggling windows, moving stuff from the AI chat to your planner, your CRM, your calendar. It's just exhausting. It's a real bottleneck, and honestly, it kind of sucks the joy right out of those amazing AI insights.
Yeah, that bottleneck, that friction, that's exactly what the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, is designed to just eliminate. You can think of MCP as the missing link, the thing that lets AI actually act on those ideas. It's almost like a universal adapter, maybe? Someone called it the USB-C for AI applications, which I quite like. It was introduced by Anthropic back in November 2024. It's an open standard, totally open source framework. And its whole mission really is to standardize how AI systems talk to and share data with all those external tools and data sources you use. It's aimed squarely at what was historically this messy NMM data integration problem.
M by M. Okay, that sounds complicated. What does that actually mean for us using these tools?
Right, okay. Imagine it like this. You've got N applications, maybe your CRM, your email client, your project tool, and you want them to talk to M different AI models or maybe other web services. If you connect every single one individually, that's N multiplied by M unique connections. Each one is a separate, often expensive custom job. It just doesn't scale. MCP aims to cut through all that complexity. It gives you one standard way for AI to talk to, well, pretty much everything.
Wow, okay. That's a pretty fundamental shift then.
Yeah.
So our deep dive today is all about exploring what MCP actually is, how it works under the hood. And then this is the exciting part. We're going to walk through a really cool concrete example, proper hands-off automation. The goal here is to show you how AI can go from just being a smart advisor to being an assistant that actually does things.
Exactly. At its heart, MCP gives AI systems, especially large language models, LLMs, a staggered way to step outside their usual chat window. It lets them interact directly with the world. So reading files, running specific functions, handling context from prompts, all in a standardized way. Now, how it works. There are a few key bits. First, you have MCP servers. Think of these as little processes that expose capabilities. They offer tools. These are things that do something like send an email, update a database. They have side effects. They also offer resources. These are more like information sources. Think GET requests. They load data for the AI, like fetching a document, but don't change anything. And they expose prompts, which are like reusable instruction templates for the AI. Then you've got MCP clients. These are the AI apps themselves. So Claude Desktop, VS Code plugins, maybe ChatGPT down the line. These clients connect to the servers to see what tools and resources are available and then use them. And to make building all this easier, Anthropic provides SDKs, software development kits. Python, TypeScript, C#, Java, Go. Loads of languages are covered.
Okay. So it really is about moving from AI that just talks about the task to AI that actually does the task. That's the core difference. Like, you can imagine Claude not just drafting that email, but hitting send in your Gmail, or ChatGPT creating a to-do list and actually adding it to your Notion board. That's the kind of power MCP unlocks. And it sounds like this isn't just a concept, right? This is actually happening.
Oh, far from just a concept. It's already got significant traction. What's really amazing is the ecosystem that's sprung up around it already. We're talking, I think the latest count was over 1,000 available MCP servers and something like 70 plus compatible clients. And these aren't just obscure little tools. They cover everything. Email, calendars, project management, deep research tools, you name it. This huge library of servers really changes the game for integrating AI. It shifts things from those expensive one-off projects to more of a plug-and-play approach, which means, businesses can potentially deploy AI solutions much faster, much more widely, without getting drowned in custom code.
1,000 servers. That's incredible. What are some of the maybe more surprising or really impactful ones you've seen pop up? I mean, just browsing the GitHub list,
Yeah.
it's kind of mind-blowing. You've got basic file stuff, Git tools, Google Drive.
Right, all the basics are there. But it goes way beyond that. You mentioned SaaS integrations, Slack, Salesforce, Notion, Jira, HubSpot. Those are table stakes now, almost. But think about specialized areas, like financial services. There are MCP servers for Alpaca for trading, AlphaVantage for market data, Coinbase, Stripe. And AI could potentially analyze market data and execute a trade via these servers.
Right.
Or look at developer tools, integrations with GitHub, GitLab, sure, but also AWS, Azure, Docker, Kubernetes for infrastructure management, even security tools like Snyk, Burp Suite, SemGrep. And AI could suggest code, scan it for vulnerabilities, maybe even trigger a deployment pipeline.
It's seriously powerful. Okay.
And then AI-specific ones, too, connecting to web search like Brave or Perplexity, translation like DeepL, voice platforms, image generation. It's vast.
No, it really is.
Yeah.
Okay, talking about it's one thing.
Yeah.
But to really get how revolutionary this could be, I think we need to see it work. So let's bring it back down to earth. What does this all mean for you listening right now? Let's get practical. We're going to walk through setting up a real-world automation, automatically publishing your Substack notes. Yeah, we'll detail exactly how you can build a system where Substack notes get published totally hands-off. It's a great way to see MCP turn AI from chat into action.
Okay, so for this specific workflow, the client application we'll focus on is Claude Desktop. It works really well with MCP. It's available for macOS and Windows. And importantly, it's free to use.
Right. So phase one, getting Claude ready. First step, obviously, download and install Claude Desktop. Pretty straightforward. You also need Node.js installed on your machine. You can check easily from your command line, just type Node version. The really key part here is telling Claude which MCP servers it should know about and potentially start up. You do this by editing a specific file, Claude Desktop config.json. Finding it is easy in the Claude menu. Go to Settings, then Developer, then click Edit Config. You add your server details in there, save it, and then you just need to restart Claude Desktop for it to pick up the changes. You can check they're connected by looking for a little slider icon down here where you type your prompts.
Okay, phase two. Connecting Claude to your web browser. This is where things get really interesting for automating web stuff. We use something called Browser MCP. It's clever. It's both an MCP server and a Chrome browser extension. What it does is let Claude directly control your browser. We're talking navigating pages, clicking buttons, filling out forms, posting content, the works. And the benefits are pretty compelling. It's fast. The automation runs locally on your machine. It's private. Your browsing stays on your device. It uses your existing login sessions, so you don't need to re-authenticate the AI all the time. And it's designed to be quite stealthy, using your actual browser's fingerprint, which helps avoid some of the basic bot detection mechanisms out there.
Right. And a really practical tip here. Use a dedicated browser just for this automation. It needs to be Chromium-based. So Chrome, Opera, Edge, Brave are all good. Firefox won't work for this, though. Why dedicated? Just avoids conflicts. If you use Chrome for work all day, maybe install Opera just for your AI automation tasks. Keep things clean. So you can install the Browser MCP extension from the Chrome Web Store. Pin it to your toolbar for easy access. Then, in the Browser tab you want to automate, you click the extension icon and hit Connect. That links that specific tab to the MCP server. And just like before, you need to add the browser MCP configuration block to your Claude Desktop config.json file. After restarting Claude, you can test it. Try a simple prompt like, hey, navigate to Google and search for Substack. And you should see Claude actually drive the browser. It's pretty wild the first time you see it work.
It really is. Okay, moving on to phase four. Integrating a database. We'll use Notion as our example here. And this is another area where MCP really shines. Integrating databases used to be, well, let's just say more complicated with earlier automation tools. MCP simplifies this a lot.
It definitely does. So for Notion, first step is create a new database. Let's call it, say, Substack Notes Queue. You'll need 3 specific columns or properties in Notion terms. One called Notes Content, make that a task property. Another called Status, make that a select property and give it options like Ready, Posted, Draft. And a third, maybe Date Added, set that as a created time property so Notion timestamps it automatically when you add a note. Next, you need to create Notion integration. Go to your Notion settings, find the integrations page. It's usually at notion.sa profile integrations. Create a new integration. Give it a name like MCP Substack Automation. Copy the secret token that gives you. Keep that safe. Then you need to go back to your database and explicitly connect that new integration to it. Share the database with the integration. Finally, back in your Claude Desktop config.json, you add the configuration for the Notion API MCP server, pasting in that secret token you copied. Restart Claude again, and then you test it. Ask Claude something like, read my Substack notes from the Notion database. Show me items with status ready. Or add a new test note to the database with ready status. Does it just work? It's surprisingly smooth once it's set up.
Okay, phase 5, making it truly automatic. So far, you still have to ask Claude to run the workflow. This phase removes that manual step. It lets the whole publishing process happen completely on its own, based on a schedule. Now, if you're on a Mac, you could probably use the Shortcuts app to achieve something similar. But for this example, we'll stick with Windows Task Scheduler.
All right, this is where it becomes truly hands-off automation. The core here is a small PowerShell script. What this script does is pretty neat. It automatically opens Claude Desktop, starts a brand new chat session. Then it feeds Claude a predefined prompt, the instructions to the entire workflow. It also makes sure your dedicated browser, say Opera, is open and ready. And then Claude, triggered by the prompt, uses browser MCP to publish the note. In the script, you'll specify a path to a text file containing your main prompt. That prompt would say something like, help me publish a Substack note from my Notion database. Use your MCP tools to 1. Get a note marked ready from Notion. 2. Create the Substack note using browser MCP. 3. Update the note status in Notion to posted. Then you just set up Windows Task Scheduler. Create a basic task, give it a name, choose how often you want it to run, daily, weekly, whatever. Tell it to start a program, put it to PowerShell.exe, and give it the right arguments to run your script silently in the background. It's basically set it and forget it. Okay, so phase 6, putting it all together, the complete workflow in action. Now, for this truly automatic system to work reliably, there are a few crucial prerequisites, things you need to make sure of. First, Claude Desktop and that dedicated browser, Opera in our example, they have to be running all the time, or at least running when the task is scheduled. And crucially, the browser needs to stay connected to browser MCP. That connection needs to be active. You also probably need to configure your computer's power settings so it doesn't go to sleep right when the task is supposed to run. And of course, you need a stable internet connection for everything to talk to each other. Claude, Notion, Substack.
Yeah, those are important points for reliability. But once those are handled, the flow is really quite elegant. Task Scheduler kicks off the PowerShell script exactly when you told it to. The script opens Claude, feeds it the prompt. Claude then automatically opens a new chat, uses the Notion MCP tool to find a note that's marked ready. It then uses the browser MCP tool to navigate to Substack notes, paste the content, and publish it. And finally goes back to Notion using the Notion MCP tool and updates the status of that note to posted. And that's it. Your complete automation system is live. Publishing happens without you lifting a finger. Truly hands-off.
That is seriously cool. And it really drives home that point AI shifts from being like a really smart intern you have to constantly supervise to a genuine partner who can actually use your systems. So thinking beyond Substack notes, how else could this kind of MCP-driven automation change things? For solo entrepreneurs maybe, or even bigger businesses?
Oh, the Substack example is really just scratching the surface. When you start combining these different MCP servers, the potential impact is massive across all sorts of business functions. Think about email management. An AI could draft personalized follow-up emails based on CRM data, maybe using the Gmail or Microsoft 365 servers, and send them automatically. That could save hours every single day.
Huge time saver.
Or calendar and meeting management. Imagine AI checking your Google Calendar or Calendly, seeing who's attending a meeting, finding related prep documents maybe from Notion or Google Drive, and sending personalized prep emails automatically beforehand.
Wow, okay.
CRM management. AI could listen to call recordings if integrated, extract key commitments or action items, update the customer record in HubSpot or Salesforce, and maybe even create follow-up tasks in Jira or Asana.
That's streamlining workflows significantly.
Exactly. Project management too. AI could parse meeting notes, turn discussion points into actionable tasks in Linear or Monday.com, assign them, set tentative deadlines, even document creation, generating proposals or contracts using standard templates stored in Google Docs or Obsidian, and automatically populating them with client data pulled from your CRM via another MCP server. When you look at it strategically, these MCP servers become the backbone for more effective digital operations. They offer unified intelligence, bringing data together for faster decisions. They boost operational efficiency by automating those repetitive tasks. They increase business agility. It's easier to connect new tools or swap things out. And they can enhance security and compliance because access is managed through these defined server interfaces, offering audit trails.
And it's not just us saying this is big. We're seeing major industry players jump on board, right? OpenAI, you mentioned, adopted MCP back in March 2025. Across their stuff, ChatGPT Desktop, the agent's SDK, the APIs. Sam Altman himself called it a big step for standardizing how AI connects to tools. Then Google DeepMind confirmed support for upcoming Gemini models in April 25. Demis apparently called it rapidly becoming an open standard for the AI agentic era.
That's right, high praise.
And Microsoft is making huge investments too. They joined the MCP steering committee of Build 2025. They've got Azure MCP Server in preview, M365 support in Copilot, native support in Copilot Studio, one-click links to MCP service, tracing. They even partnered with Anthropic on an official C# SDK. That level of buy-in from the big players, it really signals a major shift.
It absolutely does. It shows this isn't just a niche thing. It's being seen as fundamental infrastructure for the future of AI applications. Now, it's also important to be, realistic and acknowledge the other side. While the reception has been overwhelmingly positive, security researchers did raise some important points back in April 2025. They highlighted risks like prompt injection. This is where a user might craft a clever prompt to trick the AI into using its tools in ways it shouldn't, maybe accessing data it shouldn't, or performing malicious actions.
Right, manipulating the AI's instructions.
Exactly. There are also concerns around tool permissions. How do you ensure an AI agent only uses the tools it's supposed to use for the intended purpose? If an AI has access to both a file reading tool and an email sending tool, could it be tricked into reading sensitive files and emailing them out? Granular control is key.
Yeah, that's a serious consideration.
And the risk of lookalike tools. Could someone create a malicious MCP server that pretends to be, say, the legitimate Gmail server and trick the user or the AI into connecting to it and leaking credentials or data? It's often compared to OpenAPI, formerly Swagger, in its goal of describing APIs or tools. And like OpenAPI, it brings huge benefits, but also requires careful implementation and security practices as the ecosystem matures. The community is actively working on standards and best practices here.
That's a really crucial point about security. But it also underscores the value of it being open source, doesn't it? Having that community involvement, the main GitHub repo, Discord servers, people sharing lists of servers, that transparency helps identify and address these challenges collaboratively.
Absolutely. The open nature is key. And for anyone listening who wants to get started, it's actually quite accessible. You can often run many of the existing reference servers with really simple command line commands, like npx for the TypeScript ones, or UVX, or pip for the Python ones, just to try them out. And if you want to build your own custom MCP server, there's good documentation out there, and SDKs like FastMCP for Python make it relatively straightforward to wrap your own tools or APIs.
So wrapping up then, we've seen how MCP servers really are transforming AI, moving it from just a clever conversationalist to a genuine action-taking assistant. An AI that doesn't just suggest the work, but actually does the work.
Exactly. And maybe a final thought for everyone listening to consider is this. As AI gets more and more deeply woven into our daily work, how might this fundamental ability for AI to act on data, not just talk about it, reshape things, not just our personal productivity, but maybe the very nature of how humans and AI collaborate in the years ahead?
A really powerful question to ponder. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive today. We hope you found it insightful, and we definitely encourage you to keep exploring this fascinating, fast-moving space.